Hey everybody, Vicky Fitch here, your direct sales expert. I am coming to you live from sunny Southern California. It's been a little overcast, been some raining in my new house. We actually had some snow. That was kind of weird. I got to say that was kind of weird. But I'm super excited you guys are here. Y'all know that my reach on Facebook lately has been a little tenuous at best. So if you guys could make sure to hit the share button, I'd really appreciate it. Now I know I can see my Perry peeps on here, my Facebook fans, my YouTube followers. If you guys would do me a favor, like I said, we're having a little trouble. I got myself put in purgatory for a while, and I'm trying to get myself back out. So thank you for being here. Please put some comments in the chat box. We got to get that algorithm checking us out, saying, okay, there's some relevant content here, so I can deliver some messages to you. All right. So, again, if you're new, then please feel free to kick back and relax, but put your name in the chat. If you guys are my regular Perry peeps and my Facebook fans, do a girl a solid, drop in a comment, and hit the share button. All right. So, today is National Get Up Day. All right. Now, put a one in the chat box if you've ever had a time in your life where you felt like you got your butt kicked and you weren't sure you could get back up, or you weren't sure you wanted to get back up. Maybe you were humiliated, devastated, overwhelmed, and didn't know what to do. You didn't know what to do with the facts and figures you had. Maybe it was a financial thing, maybe it was a relationship thing, maybe you got stabbed in the back by your best friend. I don't know. But put a one in the chat box if you've ever had that happen. Now, for me, I've had it happen more times than I care to count. And that's kind of a bummer. Hey Mel, welcome to the broadcast. Again, drop your name in the chat if you guys wouldn't mind. It's happened to me many times. And I don't want you to change who you are. I want you to learn to be resilient, right? And we're going to talk about that. Mel, thank you so much, sweetie. It's so good that you're here. Barb Tomlin in the house. Welcome to the broadcast. That there are times when all of us are going to experience that. We're all going to get ourselves stuck in a pickle. But now put a two in the chat box if you ever watched the show. Hey Barb, welcome. Another Barb Color. Put a two in the chat box if you've ever seen the movie Ice Castles. All right, put a two in the chat box if you've seen Ice Castles. It was Robbie Benson and oh my goodness, I forgot what her name was. She was a an ice skater, and she was the bomb.com. She ended up falling. She had a head injury and she went blind. And I don't want to ruin the story for you, but what I do want to say is that she faced her challenges and she got up. And that's where Get Up Day has come from. Hey, welcome, TN. Welcome to the broadcast. Mel, thanks for sharing. You saw it just a couple of weeks ago. It's a great movie. Again, I think it was in the 70s is when it came out. You never saw it, Mel? Watch it. You'll like it. It's a great movie. But it teaches us to recognize that we're all going to have areas where we stumble. We're all going to have areas where we fall. And we're all going to feel at some point like we failed. And so we got to talk about that, but we got to tie it in with some of the stuff that's going on. Because, like right now, and put a three in the chat box if you feel like you are plagued with politics, like you still, that the sides are still beating each other up. And maybe you've been experiencing some trolling. I've been getting some trolling. Tiffany, girlfriend, it has been forever. Thanks so much for being here. I appreciate you guys. And again, if you know you're going to get some rock and good value, hit that share button because I just got myself out of purgatory, out of Facebook timeout. And so when that happens, if you guys don't know this yet, your numbers go to like zero. You got to like re-engage the entire audience where we had our live streams were kicking butt. Now we gotta work a little hard. Melanie says three. She's been experiencing it. Never mind. It was Ice Princess I saw. Well, Barb, that's all right. Watch Ice Castles. It's a great movie. It's old, but it's a good movie. So as we're talking about that, because we're going to tie in what's been happening and how it all kind of ties in together, because many of you have felt like you got your butt kicked, politically, right? Whether you were a Trump supporter or a Biden supporter, there's stuff going on right now that people are feeling like they got pummeled. Like even the Biden supporters, and then this pipeline thing came in, and now those people feel like they got their butt kicked. They feel like, whoa, wait a minute, what happened? That's not what we thought was going on. So we're all going to experience it. Doesn't matter which side we're on, but people tend to right now, because there's a bit of a fury, people are going to try and pummel politics down your throat. And so we have to be able to step up, stand out, and speak. We have to be able to stand up for ourselves without getting ourselves into too much trouble, right? Because there is, one of the hashtags we use here is stop being silent. I mean, if you maybe you could maybe put a five in the chat box if you've ever wanted to say something, If you knew something was wrong or someone was treating someone else wrong, but you were afraid to say something because you were afraid you were going to now be the new target of what was happening. Maybe it was a physical thing that was going on. Maybe it was an emotional thing. Maybe it was a verbal. Maybe it was on Facebook. Melanie says she knows what it's like. And you're like, and we're hesitating. I was listening to Ben Shapiro, I think it was today, it might have been an older episode, and he was talking about that there was some surveys done, and that they've identified that everyone feels like they have to censor themselves except for the far left. Now, this isn't me doing the survey. This is a survey that was done, and you can listen to. I probably shared it out today because it had a lot of other content in it. But everyone except the far left feels like they have to, like, check what they're about to say because they don't want to become part of the cancel culture. They don't want to become part of somebody else's target. They don't want to get nailed to a cross. They don't want to be crucified. People just want to be able to talk, but they don't feel like they have that voice. And then we've got that other side where, like, Melanie's, I think, been seeing the troll patrol. Sometimes we have friends, there are people that are supposed to be our friends or that say they're our friends that start acting like nincompoops, right? Whether that means they have decided they're not going to actually read things and they'll start attacking your position when they don't even know what your position is, or they're going to do things. All these things can create some emotional upheaval. It doesn't matter, what side of anything you're on. What matters is that inside there's some emotional trauma going on. There's emotional, it's a drama and a trauma because we don't know what to do next. We don't know how to take a stand without becoming a bully ourselves, or how to take a stand to stand up for ourselves when no one else is there by us, right? I mean, you catch my drift. Put a 6 in the chat box if you're with me, because those things are the hardest things in the world to do. Now, when you have a lot of confidence, Beth Hoover, welcome, sweetie. It's so good to see you. When you have a lot of confidence, it's a little bit easier for you to, hold your own. But even people that are really confident, if your support system starts eroding away, right? The people that care about you are all of a sudden they're getting challenged, or they're withdrawing their support. Emotionally, you feel abandoned, right? And that can create serious havoc because emotionally people are really on edge right now. I know with this pandemic, my kid is his anxiety is through the roof. Like he feels like he never gets anything right, and he's stressed out, and then when he can go out, and then other people can't go out, and people are wearing masks, and he's just, it's so stressful because you're constantly being, oh my gosh, I forgot my mask. It's like, whoa, just slow down, just calm down, right? We're so hyper vigilant on things, or other people are so hyper vigilant in our business, that it's starting to create, yeah, I can be on edge too. It's starting to create challenges. And then even families, we're watching families that are starting to split apart because one side has this opinion, one side has this opinion, whether it's political, whether it's about coronavirus, whether it's about mask wearing. People are being divided. And it's time for us to try and mend those fences, but at the same time remaining who we are. Are you guys with me? I know this is a tough one. That's a 7. If you're with me, that's a 7, because we have to be able to change the trajectory of what's going on. And when you're feeling that overwhelmed, when you're feeling like you're getting pummeled, it's hard for you to just kind of, kind of take a deep breath and try and figure out where you are. I feel like sometimes I'm in fight or flight mode, like with my kid, because he's so high anxiety, and all this stuff is going on. And I'm going to be 100% honest, whether you love me or hate me. Hey, Ruben, welcome to the broadcast. It's totally up to you, but I'm asking you to look for a minute and stop judging, right? If you guys read my book, Evict the Bully in Your Head, judgment is a bully. You can judge if you want to, but you'll find much better opportunity to converse and to connect, and even to have other people change their point of view if you stop judging them. If you stop using judgment as the bully that she is, and say, okay, let me hear your position. Now, I don't wear a mask when I go out. Okay. I have a compromised immune system. I totally get that it is me, that I am taking on the possibility of getting sick. I 100% accept that responsibility. I do not expect, and again, I'm not asking you guys to concur or agree with what I'm saying. I'm just telling you about my position, so I can wrap this together and we can work on growing together. Okay. Beth says she needs to stop judging, and it's really cool. Beth, that you can say that out loud and say, you know what, I'm kind of recognizing I've been judgmental. And sometimes the reason we're judgmental is because we've been experiencing other people's judgment, and now we're kind of conforming to that because it's the way things are going. And that doesn't make you bad either. It just means we have to kind of be aware, self-aware, and say, hey, wait a minute, what are my reasons for doing this? What is my situation? So I'm going to get back to the and cover this really quick. And again, if you guys are new to the broadcast, please drop your name in the chat box. If you guys are my regular Perry Peeps and Facebook fans, my YouTubers, please hit the share button. You know, I've been on timeout from live streaming. I haven't been able to get on. I got in trouble for being a conservative that has a strong opinion, and I just got out of timeout. So please hit the share button if you would. So as we're looking at this, like I said, I don't wear a mask. Now, if a store requires me to wear a mask and I really need to go in, I'll put it on, but just momentarily and only while I'm in there. If I'm out in public, I am not wearing a mask. If I am in a place where, unless they ask me to wear a mask, because let's face it, guys, I mean, whether you like this or not, a lot of places don't care. They don't believe, yes, I am, Beth. They don't care whether you're wearing a mask or not. They've been looking at the statistics, the data, and some of our government officials that are telling us one thing but doing something else, and they have decided that they're not going to enforce that. They'll put the sign up because they're supposed to, but they're not going to enforce it. I personally, I'm not going to wear it unless someone asks me to. All right. So again, you can love me or hate me for that. It's totally your choice. It's okay. But again, I recommend, just like Beth and I were just talking, don't judge me. Just hear what I'm having to say. It's not me being stubborn saying, screw you, I don't care about your health. If I don't feel well, I'm not going out. If I go out, I'm accepting risk and responsibility for my own health with a compromised immune system. I get that. Every time I put a mask on, I feel like I want to vomit. It's true. My head starts to hurt. I don't know if it's because I'm breathing in the carbon dioxide. I don't know what the reason is, but I'm not a dramatic or melodramatic person. It just is what it is, and that's my scoop. So I started noticing, though, that my kids, my younger one, would have an anxiety attack if I wasn't wearing my mask. Mom, put on your mask. Put on your mask. I'm outside. There's nobody anywhere near me. Put on your mask. I said, I'm not going to put on a mask, honey. I'm not. Mom, but we're supposed to. What is your reasons for not wearing? Oh, did you want me to repeat them, Ruben, or did you post that a minute ago before you heard? Let me know. Um, I said, Elijah, I'm out in the fresh air. We need to get fresh air. There's nobody around me. Thank you, Beth. There's no one around. I can't hurt anyone. And you and I live together. So and he's like, but mom, you're supposed to wear your mask. And I remember he does have Asperger's. And so he can perseverate and he gets, a little hyper vigilant on things. And so we start seeing the split or the divide. And I watched another member of my family who a friend of the family was pressuring them. Okay, thanks, Ruben. Was pressuring them to wear a mask, and so then they were uncomfortable and started wearing a mask while they were in our home because that was the criteria of this other home. And so you start seeing families divide over this. And so I want to help us, right, to recognize that we need to get up, right? Today is National Get Up Day. We need to get up when we fall or when we feel like we failed, right? We have to figure out a better way. We have to figure out a better way to communicate. We have to figure out a better way to deal with situations so we can start communicating effectively again. I don't feel it necessary to wear a mask. If my sons truly having an anxiety attack, I might put the mask on for a minute to help him calm down, right? To help him let his emotions settle and let his breath settle and talk to him for a minute. But I've also told my family, if you're uncomfortable, and this remember, guys, this is just communication. It's not me being mean. I'm not judging them for what their feelings are. If you're uncomfortable with me not wearing a mask when we go out, we don't have to go out together right now. And that's okay, right? That's not me. Hey, Marcia, welcome. That's not me saying, you will accept what I'm doing and you will like it. It's not me choosing to cop an attitude. It's me giving a choice. I don't have to change my values or what makes me feel healthy or sick because you have been pressured by someone else or because you have that idea. Are you guys with me here? Put an 8 in the chat box. Again, I'm not trying to change anybody else's position. I'm trying to help. Hey, Marcia, it's great to see you, honey. I'm trying to help us all learn that we can step up, stand out, and speak without ramming our opinion down people's throats, whether it's our own family or whether it's our social media followers. We have to learn on communicating better. We have, like I said, I'm not changing my position to make you feel better. And I don't, you personally or my family, I'm not going to change my position to make you feel better. I will listen to your position and have a conversation with you. And if I change my mind, then I will make a decision. I'll make a change, but not because you're pressuring me into it. Are you guys with me on that? Because that's what I'm talking about. This is what's happening. People take this and they start doing this, right? And that's why I started this show. Step up, stand out, and speak. Because we need to, and we need to, the other hashtag is stop being silent. You don't have to be silent about what you think is right or wrong. You just don't have to do it in a way that's rude or disrespectful to other people. Yes, no pressure. Thanks, Beth. Yes, step out, stand out, step up, stand out, and speak. And so now when we look at this in a political or a trolling situation. Now I have had again someone that's been a friend for a while and just started during the last like 5 months of the election stuff, stopped asking questions and started being, yes, stop being silent. Started being just obnoxious to my followers. As a matter of fact, I think he was rude to you today, Marcia, wasn't he? I think he's been rude to you, Melanie. That he takes this approach that is just rude and he doesn't understand social media. So I was nice for about 5 months. Like I kept guiding, directing, helping him, telling him over and over and over and over and over. And then finally, a few days ago, I warned him. I said, you know what? If you don't stop harassing my followers, because you're being a troll, if you don't stop, I'm going to start giving it back to you. I'm going to start doing troll patrol on you. You're going to understand what it means. Now, troll patrol is not me taking out the stops and trying to be mean to people, right? It's read. He's not. He's a troll, right? A bully. He does try and bully people. He just doesn't. Like it's not. Yeah, I don't block people. I know everybody says that. I don't block people because we've had some really cool troll conversions, right? I mean, I think again, some of you are my regular followers, you know them, that they've converted. Like Jeremy is one of our a great, Jeremy was a terrible troll. And we continue to work with him and said, hey, you know what? I probably, Melanie, probably was the one you blocked. I think Marcia blocked him too. That Jeremy came around because we started asking questions. And I always say, you know what, you can start fresh any day. You don't, we can forget that you were asking questions that are mean or trying to, tell me I'm ugly or do, whatever trolly things that those guys were doing, not this new person. But we'll just start over. And then he just started asking questions and he got involved and now he trolls the trolls, right? He trolls the trolls for us because I call them troll conversions. And I figure that there's happy, confident people don't come in and try and disrupt people's day and always find something to attack about them, right? Jeremy is okay, right? They don't do that. So those people are sad or discouraged or disturbed or frustrated or overwhelmed because no one listens to them, right? And why would they listen? Because people don't communicate very well. People attack. And so that is why I don't block people. Now, if somebody's being really rude and obnoxious, this is just stupid stuff that's coming through this current person. You know, he make comments about every single post every single one. Yesterday I actually listed out what trolling is. I gave him 7 things that what trolls do and he was doing all of them and that is a post and he goes, "Well, finally you answered me on what trolling is." And you see, yeah, and so, exactly on social media. And so, like I said, I've been kind and now I'm retargeting saying, you know what, you really need to read or watch the video before you comment because you're making irrelevant comments. This doesn't even make sense. Or now I address his behavior where before I tried to be kind. So troll patrol isn't still not accepting unacceptable behavior. Again, if you guys read any of my books, we talk about that in all of my, actually, I think it was launched. I don't know if it was launched in book 1 or 2 of the 12 books, 12 month series, but in Evict the Bully in Your Head, we talk about that. Do not accept unacceptable behavior. And this was the key part, even from yourself. And when we allow people to abuse us, when we allow people to attack us to where we feel like we've fallen down, to where we feel depressed and discouraged, that we don't want to, continue articulating our opinion, we don't want to keep sharing because we're afraid of the backlash of what's going to happen, then, we have to, again, we have to get up. We have to be encouraged and motivated and remember that there are people that care about us. There are people like I am an advocate of anyone that wants to participate in social media. Just participate correctly. And when I say correctly, I mean don't attack other people. Don't call them names, even if they have a complete opposite opinion of you. Don't call them names. I will sometimes that went after a while say things like, this is just ridiculous. It's a ridiculous conversation because it's redundant and you're being a bully. You're being a troll. Stop trolling my people, or I will start, I will start addressing your behavior a little bit with a little bit more sarcasm, which has a little bit of an edge because sometimes you have to get people's attention. Now, if you guys, again, have read my books, you know what the fitch slap is, right? A fitch slap is a public service. It only comes out when necessary. It's always done in love, and it's used to redirect the course of someone who's gone astray. When someone continues to pummel your viewers and your followers, you have to step up, stand out, and speak. You have to stand up for your people. Even though, I mean, I want you to think of this for a minute. Social media is a little bit like a leadership position. On your on and again, you don't have to do this, but if you want people to respect you, and they're commenting on your post and someone's tearing them apart, you need to step in. Not when they're arguing. People can argue all they want. Like, no, you're wrong. You don't know what you're talking about, but they can go. But when they start attacking, you need to step in. And that's my personal opinion. You don't have to accept, that as law. That's me. Thanks, Todd. Appreciate you. But I will say that, you know what? We don't need any don't talk nasty, don't swear. Don't be like that. Like, I'm a G-rated girl, but if somebody drops, something, they're swearing or something, I'll say, "Hey, let's try and use different language," right? I mean, let's face it. We can articulate ourselves without using curse words. I get that sometimes they feel like they have a dramatic effect, but the fact is, I mean, if you're an adult, you should be able to articulate yourself without it. I mean, I'm just saying. Do you guys agree with me? Can I have a 9 if you guys agree? I know you like it. I know some of you think dropping an F bomb here or a DAMN there, an HELL right here, like okay, boom, it gave me the dramatic effect. I can't deny that sometimes it has its own effect, but you can do it without it. I mean, you absolutely can, because there are many more words that can be used to articulate something than that. Thanks, Todd. Thanks, Marcia. I appreciate you guys. And so let's just try that. And that's what I'll say. Hey, let's work on our word choices or saying something like that, because we got to work on this. We have to continue to come together. And again, we have to step up 109%. Thanks, Todd. And again, if you guys haven't hit the share button, would you hit the share? Remember, I just got out of purgatory. So, my little jail sentence. And so, my numbers are way down from where they used to be. So I could use you guys hitting the share button, triggering my little buddy Al the algorithm to remind people that I am relevant and that you like my content just because I got silenced for a while. Thanks, Barb. Appreciate that so much. And that so when we're looking at this, we have to do better. We have to raise the bar. I did a blog post. As a matter of fact, I did the blog post when the State of the Union address. And again, whether or not you agree with me, it's that part's okay. But just hear what I have to say, because it's all relevant to this. So I did a blog post when Nancy Pelosi ripped up the wasn't it the State of the Union address? I believe it was. I am Melanie, but the problem with HAPS is that it does have the same thing as Catch used to have, where they're allowed to use your content, and most people don't read that, and that's why I'm trying to debate what the scoop is there, but I will. But anyway, so I did this blog post about we need to raise the bar. That Nancy Pelosi, by ripping that up, it was very disrespectful. Whether or not you agreed with her actions or not, it was extremely disrespectful. And in our country, I mean, we need to raise the bar. We need to raise the bar and have people start acting more mature, not less mature. We need to raise the bar and do different things. And she really, in my opinion, set women. I mean, she was the third most powerful woman in the world, or really the most powerful woman in the world, the third most powerful person in the world, arguably. And that was like, to me, my personal opinion, was a really childish thing. And I wrote an article. I mean, I wrote a blog post. You guys can look at it on my website if you want, vickyfitch.com/blog. I don't remember the name of that particular one. But the fact is that someone I respected had an absolute, or I used to respect, had an absolute hissy fit over my blog post, saying, how could I possibly say that? And that's the only way women can get anywhere is by being melodramatic, and they have to do this. And And I was like, "Really?" I mean, I didn't make fun of her. I didn't, but I thought, first of all, you want to insult my blog post. She didn't want to ask any questions or say, "Hey, Vicky, I thought this about that. I don't think that you were right. Or I think that maybe, I think that's what we need to do in order to gain some attention because it's a male dominated field or something." But she threw a hissy fit. She was acting like a petulant child on my on the post. And to me, that I lost respect for her. I mean, she can say whatever she wants. I leave the comments up and do whatever you want with it. But why do we have to act like petulant children? Why can't we act like adults? Why can't we just say what we say and people can disagree with us and we can agree to disagree and move forward and we can have respect or lose respect or still respect but don't agree. There's lots of different options, but we don't have to act like children. We don't have to act like, nay, 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 I mean, I just prefer personally, I thought that was extremely childish. Do I think Trump did some childish things? I do. And that wasn't the point of the conversation, right? This was about women and politics and leadership and raising the bar. We need to raise the bar. We need to raise the bar on social media. We need to raise the bar in our homes, the way we, bring up our children. We need to raise the bar in society and how we teach our children to communicate with other people and how we learn to smile and we learn to accept criticism or feedback or even rudeness without cowering and falling down. Like we were talking about, it's National Get Up Day. We all feel like somebody emotionally beat us up sometimes. Like somebody just ripped us a new one and like sometimes maybe we just want to go hide. Sometimes we I want to hide in the closet. Sometimes we might just not want to go on our live stream. Maybe we don't want to get on the phone. Hi, Angle, welcome, Lisa. Welcome, Mark. We may want to do a lot of things, but today's a day about perseverance and saying, you know what? I had a crappy day today, or I had a bad day yesterday. I'm going to get up. I'm just going to walk forward. I'm going to remember I'm not alone. The hashtag I use in my books is Yana, right? Hashtag YANA. You are not alone because you're not alone. We are all here together. We're not alone. So we just have to find some like-minded people that we can feel supportive or people that we respect, that even if we differ, that we can communicate and go, okay, you know what? I hear you. I still don't agree, but I can still respect you because you're having your opinion, right? Are you guys with me? 10 in the chat box or some emojis or something flying through. Get the algorithm moving. Let me know. Barb says it makes me think people are ignorant when their conversations are peppered with vulgar language. I know, right, Barb? And my husband was saying the other day because I heard a kid swearing like a sailor, like it was just nasty. And my husband's like, that's just the way they talk. It's like that's just the way they talk. I don't know if their parents talk that way or it's just their peers, but it's just the way they talk. So if for a minute you can just let those words go and hear what they're saying, you can learn a lot about them. And I was like, okay, that makes sense because, just because I don't use that language doesn't mean that's because that's not the way I learned to express myself. But if that's the only way you learn to express yourself was acting like a thug or dropping bombs, then that's the only thing that you have as your guideline, right? That's what you have as your measuring stick. And so we have to look beyond the people, beyond the phrases, beyond the clothes or the looks, or because right now, guys, I really want to say this too. There's a lot of people right now that are either homeless or going to be homeless shortly. And I think you know what I mean. There are a lot of people that are because of coronavirus weren't working. They didn't have to pay their rent or their mortgage, depending on what that stay was, but a lot of it has to do with renters. And I personally am thinking, wow, if I was heavily invested in real estate and was doing rentals, I would probably, I mean, unless I had a big reserve, I could be in some serious trouble if a lot of my people, because the government has told them they don't have to pay their rent, that you cannot evict them. So what happens to the person whose mortgage, right? Who's now, let's say you have 6 rental properties and 5 of those people aren't paying their mortgage. All of a sudden, as soon as the moratorium's gone, they're not probably going to come up with 12 months of rent at one time or 8 months or whatever it is, and you're behind on those mortgage payments. So there's a little spin out that's going to go on. There are going to be people that start getting evicted because they're not working. There's going to be, there's going to be a lot of that stuff going on. The reason I bring this up is because when you see a homeless person, you need to do what we were talking about, look behind the clothes or the dirty atmosphere. That might be you, right? It might be you in a really sucky situation. They won't pay any back rent. They they're supposed to, right? But they probably won't. And what do you do on your mortgage? If you had them in, yeah, and they'll move on to the next place. Probably. We have to hope there's some people that are, respectable enough to do the right thing, right? But if they don't, what happens if that was you, maybe you were rolling in the dough, you had, 10 rental properties, nobody's paying your rent, all of a sudden they don't pay the rent, you lose your properties, and now you lose your own home, and now you're homeless. Not really of any fault of your own, but are we judging, right? Because we don't know the circumstances behind those people. And we can't peek behind the curtain. So we need to leave judgment, judgment is a bully. We need to leave judgment out there and use compassion and empathy. Empathy is one of the headspace heroes that's very underused, right? We need to use compassion and empathy. I have seen people in Southern Cal that used all the unemployment boost to just party hard and never pay. You know what, Carl? I've seen a few of those myself, and I know a couple, and I'm personally disappointed in their choices. Nothing I can do about it, right? A dime to rent and have no intent to pay later. Yeah. And that's sad, right? That's sad that that's the caliber of people. Remember how we were just talking about we need to raise the bar? We have to raise the bar. We have to raise the bar in our expectations of our friends. If that's my friend, I'm going to say, you know what you're doing is wrong. It's just wrong. You need to pay your rent. And if they say, screw you, this is free money, it's not free money, and somebody's going to get hurt, and it's wrong. You don't have to do anything about it. I know this is rough for some of you guys, right? I get it. Some of you said, yeah, I smacked him in the face and took his wallet and went and paid his rent, whatever. But the point is, we do need to step up, stand out, and speak. If you know your friend, because how are you supposed to respect your friend if they take this unemployment money, they spend it on partying, they're not paying their rent, and they're going to screw somebody else? I mean, how can you respect them? So if you want them to respect you, even later when they hopefully come to their senses, you need to step up, stand out, and speak. You need to say something and say, you know what you're doing is wrong. It's wrong. I'm not going to participate in it. I'm not coming to if you're throwing yourself a big shindig birthday party, I'm not coming. You know what? I do love you, but what you're doing is wrong. And I just got to, I just not comfortable with you taking advantage of other people. I still love you as a person, but I can't do that. Um, Barb says, let's see, there are people in the streets. Wait, Carl says there are people in the streets carrying signs, cancel rent. It should not ever be paid. Well, that's super sad and pathetic. But again, there are some people that are promoting that kind of interesting lifestyle, right? And I shared someone's post today that talked about the difference. And again, remember, you got to take some things tongue in cheek, but when you look a little deeper, there's a lot of validity to it. It said, do not feed the bears or do not feed the animals in the forest because they become dependent on what you have to offer, and they forget how to look and forage for food on their own. And they were using this in reference to what's happening with the unemployment, right? Unemployment is a great thing, and I think it's a great support system for people, especially when you can't work. A lot of the waitresses and stuff were completely out of work, and I think that it serves its purpose. When people are choosing to use it as a tool um to just be lazy, I think that's shameful, right? And again, I don't want to judge them, but I'm also not going to sit back and participate in their behavior. Barb says the property owner should be in contact with the renter regularly during the time of crisis, perhaps at a time when the owner can get the renter to do some maintenance or upgrades on the property. Think positive. We must deal with what is. I think that's great, Barb. And I think there's lots of people like my friend Corey. Corey, I think, owns like 400 rental properties, and he has had really exceptional luck with most of them. He's had, from what I understand, he's got some people that haven't paid, but in general, it's in really good shape. And there's other people that aren't in such good shape, and you can be in contact, but if you got somebody who's doing what Carl's saying and putting signs that, hey, we should never pay rent, let's party, they're not returning your calls. Oh yeah, sure, I'm going to get to that. Yeah, I'm going to take care of that. There's some people, and again, hopefully the minority of people, right? But there are some people that think that that's okay. There's some people that think filing bankruptcy every 7 years is a way of life. I mean, I've actually seen forums and groups where people are saying, "Yeah, you just have to every 7 years. That's what you do every 7 years. You can try and they tell you the timeline of when you should charge up your cards and what you can do and what I mean, that's again, we got to raise the bar. And if we're not going to raise the bar, then we can't expect other people to. Marcia says it's important to be open with others who you're close to. Absolutely. Right. We need to be honest and tell them. I have a family member that does some very interesting things. I tried to talk to them about it a couple times, but they happen to be kind of in the throes of addiction. And so that it's falling on deaf ears. So I just don't participate in it anymore. I don't, it is what it is. I don't have any control over it. Think it comes from the everyone gets a trophy upbringing. They never strive to be anything. Carl, I think maybe some of that is, but I think personally, my husband and I ran a nonprofit organization called CYAA, the Christian Youth Athletic Association. And when the kids were little, we made sure they all got trophies, right? The kindergartners, they all got trophies because it was their introduction in. And then after that, they all had a medal that said they participated, but the trophies, the first place and whatever, those went to, the teams that were excelling. And I think that there's a lot of mentality that I think there's a lot of kids that have been brought up to believe that they deserve, you know, everything they can, and I think sometimes as parents, we want to give them so much. We want to teach them, but we do mess up. We do give them too much too soon, or we know that they're struggling with something and we compensate in one way or another that doesn't work out the way we want to. So we're all going to, again, remember it's National Get Up Day. We're all going to fall or feel like we failed. Because, if you guys know me, I say fail. Fail is a 4-letter F word. We don't use it in our family, but it doesn't mean we never feel that way, right? I don't consider it anything an actual failure. I think the fact that those are stepping stones, there is a recognition of, holy crap, that is not what I meant to do, and I'm not going to do that again. But I don't consider it a failure. It's just part of the journey. When I think of failure, it's depressing and discouraging, like failure. You know, I don't think of things like that. And maybe it's just the way I address the word, but there's lots of times I have fallen. There's lots of times I skinned my knees, skinned my face, you know, literally thought, holy Toledo, I don't ever want to do that again. That sucked. I don't want my kids to ever have to go through that. Maybe it's a relationship, a love relationship or a business relationship. We screw up and then we have to do something different or we have to fix it. And so we have to remember to have perseverance, and we have to remember, that even when we feel alone, we're not alone. That's the beauty of social media, is that we can find like-minded people. We can find them out there, whether they're in different countries or different parts of the world. We can find them. Let's see. Melanie says a temporary fix. Barb says take the upper road. The renter certainly doesn't feel great about owing back rent. Get to know the renter. If they are a bad egg, then it's easy to move them out when legally possible. And Barb's absolutely right. And what Carl's saying is those are the bad eggs. I got my money coming in. Let's party. And then, oh, I can't pay the rent. I can't pay it. There's going to be both sides. And like I said, we hope it's the minority that does that partying and poor choices, right? Because they didn't know any better. And hopefully we can continue to set a good example for them. Barb says the wave of defaults coming will be loaded with folks who are good people. Not everybody is what we see in the media, not at all. And that's what I was saying, Barb. When you do see someone who's homeless, stop looking at them with that filter of failure. Look at them with the filter of compassion and empathy. How can I help? What can I do? And you can tell the difference between someone who wants something for nothing and someone who wants to give back or participate. Now, there's a girl that I met. She actually is living in a storage shed, a storage unit. And, we tried to help her, and she doesn't want our charity. She will let me buy her a meal sometimes. She'll let us bring some water by. Well, she's got her stuff. She got kicked out of her apartment and she does get some social security. She does have some disabilities, but she refuses to take flat out charity. Like my husband and I were going to get her a motel or something for a few weeks or a month. Something she refused. Nope, I don't need your charity. I do appreciate you. I do appreciate you as a person, or whatever. But the point was that she's not just taking handouts. Poor me. Yeah, give me money. And a couple times I've thrown money underneath her thing right as I'm driving off, because what is she gonna do, right? I mean, um, but I'm not trying to insult her, right? I'm not trying. And when I get gift certificates, I got gift certificates for ice because they were turning the power off. And I brought them to her and I said, "Hey, do you want these?" And she did want them because that's how she keeps her food cold. Is she has to have ice. She has no electricity in there. Or she does have a light, but she has no electricity. Um, there's no, like, you can't plug anything in there. There's no water. There's no bathroom. I mean, I can only imagine how that would feel. But she's not looking for handouts. She's not sitting there asking everybody comes through, "Can you give me money?" She's not, and again, I wouldn't even blame her if she did need some help. But my point is that we need to look at people with empathy instead of with judgment. That's what we need to do. Empathy is the key. And again, empathy is one of my favorite headspace heroes in A Victim in Your Head. So yes, there's going to be a lot of that stuff going on. So that's what we need to remember. We need to remember that that stuff is coming, that we need to care for other people, and that when people troll us, when people don't agree with us, that we need to articulate ourselves better. We need to deliver value. We need to communicate and try and do our best to be empathetic towards their situation, assuming that they have, they aren't very articulate, or assuming whatever you need to in order to be as kind as possible. All right. So I've chit chatted longer than I had intended to. I wanted to tell you a couple other things that are going on. Again, if you didn't hit the share button, please do. If you don't have my notifications on, please put them on, because otherwise you may not know I'm here. So, like I said, I'm trying to dig myself out of purgatory so we can get back to our regular broadcast. Tomorrow night, for those of you guys who've been part of the Blab community, tomorrow night there's a kind of like a Blab reunion. Hey, Sarah, welcome. Blab reunion. If you message me, there's two things, you guys. I'm going to give you an email address for my assistant, but I'm going to have you message one of two things, or you can send two messages. If you want an invitation to this reunion, it is the 5th anniversary of the Himmelblau and Bodenweiser podcast. If you guys remember that, Cliff and Bruce are having a show. I'm going to be on it with them. There's a couple other people, and then they're going to have a little after Blab. But it's going to be kind of a fun thing, especially if you were on Blab with us. So you can send an email to booking, BOOKING, booking at vickyfitch.com, VICKIFITCH.com. If you want an invitation, booking at vickyfitch.com, and just write Blab in the header. That's all you have to write. You don't have to put anything else, and I'll have Honey send you out the information for the event. It's tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. Also, many of you guys are my Patriot friends, and the reason I got myself in purgatory, why I got in trouble. And many of you have been asking me about other ways of communicating and what we're going to do. So if you want to be invited to an event that I'm doing, like just a Zoom event, send that to that same address. Put Patriot in the header. If you put Patriot and Blab in there, then she'll know it's for both. But if you're a Patriot and you know that a conservative conversation has gotten us in trouble, and that we should still be able to speak, we shouldn't be silenced because we have a different perspective. Again, I'm not mean. I'm not calling people names. Yet if I did call people names, I think I would be more accepted than just being kind. But again, booking, BOOKING at vickyfitch.com. You can write in Blab or Patriot or both in the header. That's all you have to write. And we'll send you that thing. And later on this week, we're going to be talking about Nobel Peace Prizes on my show this week. Women in sports, because Thursday is Women and Girls in Sports Day. So Thursday is going to be a hot topic. And then, of course, tomorrow's Groundhog Day, which is kind of relevant to the Blab anniversary coming up, because it's like Groundhog Day. It was super fun. But you guys, I appreciate you being here. If you are new to me, please make sure you hit the notification tab. Make sure you're following me on my social channels. Go to vickyfitch.com and subscribe to my newsletter list, because you know that chances are really good that I'm going to get myself booted off most platforms. I am on Haps, and I do have my handle on those platforms, even though I haven't been presenting there. I'll be talking about that on the Zoom call that I do later in the week. So if you want to participate in that, please do. Again, booking, BOOKING at Vicky Fitch, VICKIFITCH.com. Oh, yeah, I can put it in here for some of you. I'll put it right here. Booking at VickyFitch.com. So you can say either Blab or Patriot or both in there. And I appreciate you guys so much. I hope you had a good time. Hit the share button. Make sure you follow. Let's stay connected. And we need to remember, like I said, we have to use empathy to have space hero. We need to remove judgment, the bully. And today at National Get Up Day, we need to get up, right? We need to get up and just persevere. And we need to remember to stop being silent. It's time to step up, stand out, and speak. I'll look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Thanks, Barb. I appreciate you guys. And until then, I want to remind you, like I always do, to dream it, believe it, and achieve it. Ciao. See you guys soon. See you tomorrow, I hope. Okay. 6 o'clock we'll be on the blab for the blab thing. So my other show won't be there. Haps is not pro patriots. Do not be fooled. I hear you, sister. That's why we're having this other meeting. You should definitely join in on us. So thank you guys for being here. I'll look forward to seeing you soon. And remember, you can do it.